Hey everyone, welcome to the Feature Film Podcast. My name is Kyler and I am one of the hosts. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to give you a little bit of a shorter episode, a bonus episode, a coronavirus special, if you will. This is just something for y'all to listen to while we're all quarantined. So we're not going to be talking about the movie that we teased at the end of episode 3. This is just a bonus, so enjoy. Welcome to the Feature Film Podcast. This week we are talking about our favorites.
Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the show, guys. I'm Kyler.
And I'm Ethan.
And we are on Zoom because Corona. So
yeah, it kind of stinks with everything going on right now. We just thought it would be safer for us just to stay inside at our own houses and just really enjoy the sanctity of shelter in place.
Yeah. I know that I got furloughed from my job. Did you get furloughed from your job? Or?
Nope. I'm currently still working. I kind of wish I wasn't, but I'm glad to be one of the millions and millions of Americans that could still work. So I'm very blessed for that.
That's good. Just an update on my life. Yeah, I got furloughed, but before that, I got married. So that's really cool.
I was there. I was very happy for him.
There.
Literally, I almost cried at his wedding.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm just happy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, it's been good. Her name's Liz. We were dating for about like 3 years and 3.5, I think, and then we got married. So it's been a crazy month because of coronavirus, because we got married, we went on a cruise, and we got back, and everyone said, "Congratulations, we're in lockdown." And we've been at our house ever since. So, yeah. But this week, we're going to do kind of a shorter pod. And before we get started officially, I need to take a moment and shout out a couple people. These two people have guessed the after credit scenes that we do at the end of our episodes. And so Jenna Redding and Alex Jean, congratulations. You two guessed our after credit scenes for episodes 2 and 3. I'm proud of y'all. Good job.
Good job, guys. And honestly, I couldn't figure out any of those. I came up with a couple of them, obviously, and I knew in advance, so I couldn't be the one guessing. But literally, I love the fact that you guys are getting involved. I wish that we were more advanced to where we are now. We're still in the beginning stages of everything. But if we were, we probably would have done something special. But we'll see what the future holds. If we could actually send out rewards or do anything like that. But really appreciate you guys for participating in the challenges.
Yeah, so congratulations to both of you. Surprisingly enough, they're engaged as well. So
to each other?
They're engaged to each other.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I remember, again, I just met, I didn't meet. I went to Kyler's wedding and I saw them sitting together. That's so funny. And for those who don't know, Jenna is Kyler's sister, so that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, she knows her John Williams scores. So anyway, congratulations, you two. Moving on. I need to make an addendum to our last episode. When I geeked out about episode 9, I did not have this piece of information yet. But and we're also making this a weekly thing, or an episodic thing, where we talk about Star Wars for just a brief moment. So in episode 9, Palpatine comes back. Well, in the novelization, it has been revealed that Palpatine was a clone.
I didn't know that.
I know.
Are you for real?
So crazy. Yeah, seriously. I read it on Facebook, and I've heard it from other sources too now, and I've just been like, what the heck?
Doesn't make Palpatine was a clone of the original? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, Palpatine was a clone of the original Palpatine. Which,
that's interesting.
I don't know how that works now, because in my mind, that's a huge deal when the big baddie comes back, but to have him just be a clone, it makes sense when you think about it. Someone explained it like this: since he was a clone, he needed not the life, but the force powers of both Kylo and Rey to come back to full power. But it was just odd, and it kind of took away from the wow factor for me.
That's interesting. The reason why I think so many fans have had so many questions like, how did Palpatine live? How did he make it this far? How and why is he back? And I think that's a very interesting thing. I don't know how I feel about him being a clone, because that could have been like an easy way out of it. I think this is my own opinion. I think the story would have been better if it was actually him. But Kyler, what do you think? Like, do you think it would be better if it was the original him or a clone of him?
Yeah, it was kind of let down to hear that he was a clone. Because I mean, like to hear that the original one survived the big fall, I was just, it adds to that level of wonder, like how the crap did that happen? But to know that he was just a clone. Now, granted, he had to plan out years ahead of his death that there would be a clone of him later. I mean, that's cool, but again, it takes away from the wow factor for me. So that's the Star Wars fact for the week. That's my geek out moment. Now, this week we said we were talking about our favorites. That means we were talking about our favorite movies. Ethan, do you want to go first or should I go first?
Sure. So my favorite movie of all time, or one of the many, because I don't really like to narrow it down, but this is one that I've always loved, was Back to the Future. Of the overall trilogy of it, I love the fact that it's literally part one, part two, part three, and it picks up right where it leaves off. And like one of my favorite parts about Back to the Future is really just like the character Marty McFly. Obviously, you get to know him. He lives in a rut of a home. He like just life just sucks, and then his friend Doc comes and goes back in time. But it's also like the drama of them all. Like literally, I don't like the third as much, but I love the second and the first one a lot. The first one probably more, just because it has more drama. Like when he goes back in time, he tries to go back forward in time, and he ends up, or his mom ends up falling in love with him. He almost stops the entire of him ever existing, and you just basically, it always leaves me on the edge of my seat, and that's one reason why I love the movie so much. Unlike the second movie, it's just like it's like another adventure. We talked about this in a couple of episodes back about Indiana Jones, to where in the beginning of in the beginning, he's on this new adventure, and you get to figure out a lot about him, and then he goes to the main story of the movie, and then at the end, it takes off in another adventure, and that's one reason why I love Back to the Future. But the difference between the two is that Indiana Jones, he takes off in a different adventure. You don't get to see that side of it. Back to the Future, it's literally a continuation of the three, which is just really fascinating to me. But I believe that Michael J. Fox did the role really well of this kind of just weak, pathetic not little, of this guy, and I think he just portrayed it really well. It's actually kind of funny because how I first learned about the movie. I still am to a certain extent, but I like to play Minecraft, blah, 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 blah. And a couple of years ago, they came out with the Minecraft Back to the Future adventure pack, or adventure map or whatever. And I first played it, and I didn't know the story at all. And I'm like, wow, this is so good. So I literally rummaged throughout the entire I went through every nook and cranny just to find the freaking movie in my house, because I thought I couldn't find it anywhere. Just to find I think maybe the third on VHS, which we don't even have a VCR anymore. And eventually I managed to, I think, convince one of my older siblings just to buy the trilogy for me. So, but yeah, that's all. That's literally, I love the Back to the Future movies. They're so good. What about you, Kyler? What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I'm going to get some crap for this probably, but my favorite movie is Star Wars Episode 2. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I grew up watching it. That's probably why I love it so much. I think the lightsaber fights really did it for me too as a little kid. I probably, what was I, like 5 maybe when this came out? Whenever it came out on DVD, I never got to see it in theater, unfortunately, but when it was out on DVD, Blockbuster was still a company at that point. And so every Friday, my parents would take me and my sister to go rent a movie, one for each of us. And I would just rent Star Wars Episode 2 over and over and over again. So we would literally rent it, watch it, bring it back to the store, re-rent it, watch it, take it back to the store. And it was just over and over. And my mom eventually just said, if you're going to just rent that one, let's just buy it. And I said, really? And I mean, as a little kid, it was mesmerizing. The lightsaber fights, all the YouTube videos I've watched of like experts analyzing sword fights. If they've ever thrown in Star Wars ones, the YouTube experts just say, yeah, they're just dancing with lightsabers. And that's why I love it, because it's very artistic, it's very fun, it's all over the place, and it's very big and grandiose. That's one reason I love it. Another reason, I love Anakin. I think he's a good character. I think that Hayden Christensen did a really good job playing him. I wouldn't want anyone else in that role. And I think sometimes he's more the victim of poor writing than he is poor acting. But like my college roommate, his name's Braden. We got into arguments over this. He said that Anakin was so whiny and he hated him because of that. And I just always came back with, that's how he became Darth Vader. He was too young to handle the stuff that he was handling, I think. And he was whiny about it. He missed his mom. And ultimately, his immaturity led him to become Darth Vader. I don't know, I guess if it's a good writing choice to write the character that way, but I support it because I think it lends itself well to him becoming Darth Vader. Going with Anakin, I love the love story between him and Padme. A lot of people give it the criticism it's too mushy, and that's why they hate this episode. They always say episode 3 is the best, and I disagree because of a few different reasons, but mainly I love the love story in this one. To see them, to know that there is a spark of love that Anakin has for Padme, but she doesn't return that initially, and then she kind of returns it halfway through, and then at the end she finally says, I love you. I mean, it's a romance movie in that aspect, and it's very heartwarming if you want to let your heart be warmed by that, I suppose. Last thing, I love Jango Fett. I think he's freaking cool. His outfit looks great. He was the baddie with a jetpack, and the fight between him and Obi-Wan was great. And to give a little bit of a backstory to Boba Fett was a really cool thing. And I guess that's more of a fan service than anything. But, he also was the model for the clones, which was also really cool. Fun fact, Jango and Boba are actually not Mandalorians. They just have the armor, and I don't know how that plays in with the show The Mandalorian or the rest of Star Wars lore, but Lucas has confirmed that they are not Mandalorians themselves, which is very interesting. But yeah, I could go on and on about Star Wars, but that's really why I love this movie. It's just so much of a fun ride. It's got some funny parts in it. It's got some sad parts in it. It's got a lot of good parts in it. So, yeah, that's why.
Hey, so I have a question real quick. I'm sure you've already seen this. This is blown up on the internet. People made episode 4 a fan-made fight between Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader, and it is so good. I'm sure you've already seen it. If you don't know, just literally search it to Ben Kenobi versus Darth Vader remastered or fan made or something. It would pop up. It's a 6-minute video. It's literally so good. And something you said earlier was that you just love the fact that they were dancing with lightsabers, and I literally thought about that because the difference between 1, 2, and 3 versus 4, 5, and 6 is that the lightsaber fighting was garbage. I'm just gonna say it as it is.
Well, it's a very different style, but first off, let's just acknowledge the technological marvel that Star Wars is, and the fact that they had lightsabers, that they created the technology to do that. And so with their creation, they can only do so much. Plus, when you really think about it, it's a lot more like actual fighting rather than choreography.
That's true.
And even in the sequel trilogy, they leaned more towards the actual fighting rather than the choreographed stuff. But again, I like the choreographed stuff better, but that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah, it's because it's flashy, but I agree 100% though. So yeah, that was my take on that. So those were our favorite movies, but now me and Kyler are going to talk about one of our favorite actors through a new game called Name That Movie.
Yeah, name that movie. So the idea is we're going to talk about one of our favorite actors. We picked Samuel L. Jackson from Star Wars Episode 2. We're going to name the different movies that he's been in. Whether that's been in franchise, whether that's been in animation, doesn't matter. Now, first person to blank on a movie that he's been in, and by the way, we're not using the internet, we're just going off the top of our heads. First person to not be able to name a movie is the loser, and there will be a punishment. And so, also, another rule, if you name him as a character and he plays that same character through several movies, you can only name his character from one of those movies. You can't just start naming all the different Marvel movies he's been in, you know?
All right, well, let's get started.
All
You
right.
want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll do an easy one since I just used it. Director Fury from Avengers.
Okay. I'm going to go with Kingsman. The first one, he played the bad guy. I don't remember his name.
I didn't even know that. Okay, I'm going to go with Shaft.
Shaft. I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what this movie is called. It's called, oh my gosh, it's going to bother me. Oh my gosh, I know. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's called something with death related.
4, 3,
No.
2, 1.
I'm gonna Google it right now. I am so mad. Hold on, wait. I am actually so mad. I couldn't think of it. What was it called?
Bro,
figure
I'm
this
so
out.
glad that you ran out because I could not think of it.
Pulp Fiction! Pulp Fiction! I knew that. Nothing with death. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. I just remember the famous line when Samuel Jackson is like, and you will know that my name is Stallone.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so upset. I could have figured it out.
You could have kicked my butt if you had just remembered that.
That's so dumb. All right.
All right.
So,
You're the loser,
next
so you
time-
get punishment.
I'm going to get the punishment, which will be to be announced next time when we meet back on.
Yeah. So this week we're not going to do any after credit scene because we're just trying to keep it a short one, something for you to listen to during Corona. Plus, Mike unfortunately couldn't be here because he had some car issues he was taking care of. But
And I believe technical difficulties with his house, like his Wi-Fi and stuff.
oh, that too. Okay. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a review on iTunes. And yeah, stay safe in this COVID crisis. And we will see you, or you'll hear us next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Roll credits.
Bye. Pulp Fiction! Pulp Fiction! I knew that. Nothing with death. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying.